this is Elisa from Anaya's Toy Box Crochet, and I'm here to tell you what I've been up to. Thank you so much for coming. I do like showing off my makeup, and I'm so glad that you guys come to see them. If you want to follow me on social media, I am Anaya's Toy Box on Etsy, Ravelry, Facebook, and Instagram. Oh my gosh, I forget Instagram. Anyways, what's my news? My news, my friends, is I have COVID. Yes, I had it last weekend too. I just didn't know it then. I thought it was allergies with that. I had a big sinus headache and my nose was running and stuffed at different times. It was really horrible. And I thought it was allergies. But it turned out on Monday my ears started hurting. So I went to the doctor and they're like, oh, you have COVID. So I didn't end up, because of the headache, because happy Mother's Day, by the way, because it was Mother's Day, I didn't end up filming on Sunday. By Saturday and Monday, I was feeling pretty yuck. And yeah, here we are now, a week later. I'm coughing still. And so I will do my best to edit it out. But if I am coughing a lot on this video, I do apologize. I am coughing a lot less than I have been. I'm on the mend, my friends. I'm on the mend. But anyways, I thought I'd tell you, just so you know. And let's get to what I've been up to. So this is what I've been up to. This is a little kitty cat. Take a look at him or her, whatever. This is for hashtag Mix and Match Challenge 2024 that is being hosted by Cassandra from Craftively Ever After. I used the pattern, the Animal in Clothes pattern, which is a pattern that I designed. And for the hat, I used, again, pattern that I designed, the Mushroom Spirit doll. So I mixed and matched even though it was my own pattern. Now, obviously the body, it was written, it's done. I've made it a few times. Well, not Cassandra. Not Katrin. I did make Katrin a few times. I only made her once before, but it's my pattern. I've done it before. The overalls I had also designed already. This is from... Okay, well, let me explain the Animals in Clothes pattern. The Animals in Clothes pattern has the same basic body. What's different is the details, like the ears and the tail. There is 4 patterns in that pattern. You buy them all together. There is a cat, a bunny, a bear, and a dog. So there's 4 of them, and you can take whichever clothes you want and put them into any one of these dolls. So for instance, this is Bunny, and she is wearing Katrin's clothes. So the clothes I designed for Katrin, she's wearing that. This is Katrin, and she's wearing the clothes that I designed for Albert. If you see the pattern, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you are interested in making her, I do have a video tutorial on how to make her. So it has a basic body and the ears for the bunny, but it doesn't have the cat ears or the dog details or anything. It is a paid for pattern in my Ravelry store if you are interested. But anyways, I finished making this. This is definitely mix and match. The hat gave me a lot of trouble. I was originally gonna use color change to make the dots, but instead I ended up cutting up felt and gluing it on with some fabric glue because I wanted it to be up, like right there, like standing on top of its head, the mushroom. And no matter how I did it, it wasn't working because the ears wasn't working. So I did and redid the hat like 4 times trying to make it stand up here. Finally, I gave up on that. Once I gave up on that, it went relatively easy. I worked it, made the holes for the ears, and then I made it so it was up to here, the hat. And I didn't take into account that once you fold this, it's going to take up some of the length. And so when I finished the white part and sewed it on, it was a little on the short side, in my opinion. But to tell you the truth, after working on this like 5 times, restarting it, getting like probably up to here, and realizing it wasn't working for the ears the way I wanted it to, I did not have the mental power to say, I'm going to frog the white part, make the red part a little bigger, and do it like that. I was like, no, I'm done with this hat. It's done. So here he is. I don't know his name from the mix and match, but it is the Katrin pattern, wearing Albert's overalls. And the hat is from the Mushroom Spirit Doll. My goodness, I forgot. Well, anyways, while I was making this, I kind of felt like having trouble standing. Let's try again. There, nope, just stand. Well, while I was making this, I thought, ooh, you know, I haven't made like any of these. I was gonna actually make Albert. I was gonna make Albert wearing this dress, but I changed my mind, and mostly because Albert has ears, a muzzle, and a tail that is bigger than Bunny's tail. I think, is it? No, I think it's about the same as Bunny's tail, but it just had more pieces, and I was running low on this yarn, so I thought I'll just do Bunny because all she has is the ears and the tail. So I started working on Bunny, and I made her up, and I made up the dress for Katrin for her to wear, and then I just realized, you know, I don't have a picture because although they're all the same designs and everything, I designed them at different times. With the original two, which is Albert and Bunny, I made them when I was hosting a CAL group. I was actually giving participation rewards as far as patterns go. I was designing patterns, and for everybody who participated in the CAL itself, they got gifted from me designs. And so Albert and Bunny were 2 different months of that crochet along, the designs that were gifted to them. And I had them at the same times because I did them consecutively. So I did one, I don't remember what month they were, like say it was March, one of them was March, the next one was April. So I have pictures of the 2 of them together. But then later on I decided I'm going to add Dogless, and so then I added Dogless, but I didn't have Albert and Bunny already to take pictures of all 3 of them together. And recently I have also added Katrin, so I don't have pictures of all 4 of them together. So I thought, it'd be nice if I make all 4 of them. So while I did make Katrin's clothes there, I'll probably take this off for the pictures and put it on Katrin, and I'll put Bunny's dress on Bunny. Okay, so this is how it looks. I'm not sure, like this was designed for Katrin, but I'm not sure how I like the tail sticking out. It is what it is. I'm not redesigning it. I'm not changing the pattern in any way. But this is a Bunny wearing Katrin's dress. Katrin, by the way, is that one. That's how she would have looked. All right, stand up. So since I have decided to redo all of them, I have started making Dogless. Here he is. This is Dogless. He's naked. He's headless. Yeah. By the way, the pattern is worked differently than I'm doing right now, and there is a reason for that. I worked the head separately in the pattern, and then, the body is worked separately. There's 2 reasons for that. One is that I wanted to keep it as beginner friendly as possible. And second of all, until I discovered at that point when I was designing them, I didn't like the way, when you go from bottom up and you increase the head, it doesn't sit like this. You know how it's sitting like this right now? It kind of goes up in a little bit of an angle, and I hate that angle. I like the sharp lines here at the bottom, and you get that by making the head separately. The sharp line here I like. I have since then experimented and discovered that if you work the first row of the head on the front loop, instead of in both loops, you don't get that kind of gradual going up, and you get the sharp, like, I don't know how to explain it. It kind of goes up like a V, like this, the head. And if you work on the front loops, or if you do the head separately, you get it like perpendicular, which is what I wanted. It's not as good as if you make the head separately and sew it on, but it is better than if you just continue working up, if you use the front loop only of for the first round of the head. So I use the front loop only for the first round of the head. It makes it lay more like this. It's more like this than like that, but it's better than like this. I don't know if you guys know what I'm talking about, and I hope I explained it properly, but I just don't like the way heads look when you work from the bottom up, because it kind of goes like this. I don't know how else to explain it. I'm sorry. I wish I could. But if you look at pretty much any bottom up pattern, you will see what I mean when I say it kind of goes up more like a V than it does perpendicular. And if you use the front loops to start the head, it goes more like a much wider V, almost perpendicular, wider V. It's not exactly the same, but I don't like sewing, so I think I could live with it like this rather than the thing. Anyways, all this to say, when I wrote the pattern, I didn't know about the front loop method because I hadn't discovered it. I did discover it just by chance. I don't think I discovered it from a pattern. I was working with a really small hook and really thin yarn, and it was just, for some reason, I was having a hard time getting into the stitches, so I just did in the front loop, and I love the way it turned out. So I work on the front loop now, and so I'm working it in all in one piece, even though the pattern is written with the head separate. Well, not all in one piece, but you know what I mean. This is Douglas. Just to say, I am working on him. I do plan to work on Albert, and I'll probably make another Katrin, because this Katrin has the hat, which is not part of the pattern, so I can't take pictures of this Katrin and say, hey, this is it. This is all the patterns you could get in this pattern book when you can't get that hat. So I didn't write down what I did. I did adjust the Mushroom Spirit, because the Mushroom Spirit had a much bigger hat. But anyways, this is it. This is what I have right now. He will hopefully be done by the time you see him again, although I'm thinking of putting Bunny's clothes on this one, and then I still have Albert and Katrin to go. But anyways, those are what I'm talking about. That was a really long explanation for anybody who's not interested in this pattern, but I apologize. So what have I been doing? I have been working on blankets. When I have COVID, I kind of end up making blankets. The reason is I want to crochet. I want something that's easy to clean because I'm contagious while I'm making it. And I want something that's easy because brain power is not quite there when you have COVID. So I've made blankets. So this one I had already shown you. I had started it. I didn't put a stitch marker to say where I was, but I was probably around here when I last showed it to you. I think I was probably on this block. I don't think I had shown you with the orange yet. But anyways, I had started it. I was there. Since then, I have finished all of it. Here it is. This will definitely be a Boggy Creek blanket because I don't know what else to do with these guys. It's a baby blanket. It is probably about 35 by 42 or something like that. I'm not sure. I have to remeasure it. I'm going to wash it before I do anything with it. It's going to stretch it out a bit, I think. But that is it. This is actually not the one I showed you last time. Nope. This is a new one that I started while I was sick and finished while I was sick. So this is the second blanket. I did this in its entirety during the time I've been feeling sick. So here it is, the thing. I'm using scraps. In this one, I actually did not use scraps. Like, okay, they're not scraps, they're my working yarn. I call my working yarn when you finish a big skein of yarn, you usually have leftovers. When you're making amigurumi, you have more leftovers. And so that's called my working yarn. If I can start a project, like for instance, this Bernat that I'm using Douglas for was working yarn. It is not working yarn anymore. I'll put it into one of these blankets after I'm done. But I call it working yarn. I've used a little bit of the skein, but I could still start a new project. That is working yarn. There are some projects that I could start any project I want and it'll be fine. And some skeins where I need to start a small project. So I took the ones where I needed to start a small project, like it would be a small project I'd have to start, and making blankets out of that. But because I had COVID, I didn't have enough of the small ones. So I picked up like this one and this one are like my big skeins. This one too. Were my perfectly fine. I could start anything I want with it. Skeins, but because I had COVID and I didn't have any more of the small yarns, I just put those in here. This is now going to be 4 blankets. I've already actually started another one, which I forgot to bring. I just did one square. I'm going to be making these to use up all those yarns and all those little bits, the smaller ones, because I kind of don't feel like making. Last year I made a lot of my scrappy cats, and I was planning to design a scrappy bunny, and I wrote it down how I wanted it, and I didn't make one. I made one. I didn't write it down because I didn't feel like writing it down. Then I wrote it up, but I never made it from the pattern that I wrote up. So I never ended up sharing it because I just don't feel like making those small scrappy projects, small scrappy amigurumi projects. So instead I'm making these. So this is actually the one I had already shown you. I think I was probably up to here. I was probably up to here last time I showed it to you because I was working on that other blanket and I said I'm using the yarn from that other blanket, whatever's left over, into this. And I did this yarn, and this yarn right here is from that other blanket, and this yarn and that purple one on the top. I finished this one too. And this one was halfway done already, so I finished it really quickly. I do not want to buy yarn for these projects, so I picked up whatever neutrals I already have in my stash, and I used the entire skein of this color. I think this one was nutmeg and this one was taupe, and they're so close together, it's hard to, on the camera you could tell the difference, kind of. I have a hard time telling the difference. So in this project, I used the leftovers of this to make one of the squares at the beginning. Where is it? Oh, here, this is the beginning. So this is the nutmeg colorway. Oh, you could tell on the camera. My naked eye, I can't really tell a difference, but on the camera you can. That you could tell that this is a little lighter. This is the nutmeg colorway, and this is the taupe colorway. Yeah, I think this, I was pointing it out to my daughter. I made a mistake with these. Like, this is when I was really not feeling good. I put this upside down. It doesn't matter. I think that, now, I'm being very traditional when I say this because my nephew's favorite color is pink. So I really shouldn't be saying this, but traditionally, if a boy were to get this blanket, I think they would be really, really happy, but they would be wondering, why is this square here? Again, I do not approach these blankets with saying I'm making a boy blanket, I'm making a girl blanket. I just make it with whatever scraps I have. I bet you they would be confused about this color, say, what is this color doing in this blanket? I would have loved this blanket if I hadn't had that color. But you know what? Boys nowadays, they don't think like that. Like I said, my nephew, his favorite color is pink. So he might just love this pink, whatever little boy gets this blanket. Or girl, I don't even know who's going to get it. I think that it's fun, it's interesting, and hopefully they love it. It's going to go, like I said, these two, probably the one I worked on the other day, the square C2C one, or rectangular C2C. blanket. All of them are probably going to go to Boggy Creek because I don't know what to do with those. And I'm deliberately making them small because at least I know I could send these to Boggy Creek, whereas if I make like a double or a single size blanket, single bed size blanket, I wouldn't know what to do with them. So anyways, that is what I've been working on. There's nothing. Oh, there's one more thing. I worked on this on Mother's Day. I made myself a little bag. So at work, okay, this is a story. I started working last year. When I say last year, I mean last school year. I work at a school. I started working last school year after a really long time. I was a stay-at-home mom with the side crochet business for a long time. I stopped working when I was pregnant. I had a difficult pregnancy, my first pregnancy. I continued to work after she went to school because I had my second child. And then COVID happened, and then I spent a year at home by myself. I mean, the crocheting was fun, but eventually it kind of got boring. It was fun to crochet, and I had unlimited time and all that, but it got to a point where I was like, I'm home all this time. And so I decided to go back to work. So I went back to work last school year, which it was in October I started. So it was 2022 in October I started. And we have to go from room to room. Like we have our classroom, but then there's like a sensory room, and then there's a motor room, and there's the gym, all that sort of stuff. And I do not have pockets in my clothes, like maybe one or two, but for the most part I don't have pockets in my clothes. And so I would leave my phone in my classroom. And once when I remember this so well, I was in the sensory room, and my school called me because my son was sick. And I didn't answer. I never saw the call until after work when I was heading home to pick him up, that the nurse had called, and they ended up calling my husband. And my husband, he sometimes is close. He has like two different offices. Sometimes it's close by, sometimes it's far away. He happened to be in the far away one. So my poor child had to, be at school while he was feeling sick for over an hour. And I felt really guilty because my priority are my kids, not my work. And I missed that. And so I made a little phone pouch for me. So now I carry the phone pouch with me all over the place. And even though I made it with cotton, it's getting worn out. So I thought I'd make another one. This is not my phone pouch though, because it's too big. I used Lether Company yarn, in a cotton yarn from Lether Company, which I got my first subscription box to Lether Company. I bought just one with my birthday money, and I got everything. I got the hook, I got the merino yarn that I was able to use at that time, and I got the cotton yarn. Now the cotton yarn, I knew I didn't want to use the project that she had designed for it, but at the same time, it was a 5-weight cotton. I don't use 5-weight yarn. I don't. I didn't know what to do with it. Like, I didn't want to make the coasters that she made with this yarn. I didn't mind with other yarns, but I didn't want to make it with this yarn. And because I use 3-weight cotton for dolls, this was too thick. And I've had it for years, just lying there waiting for me to use it. Now, again, I have been allergic to wool for years, and I got this before I was allergic to wool. And so it's been lying there for years, so I thought I'll make a phone pouch out of it. This is not a phone pouch. This is way too big. I can't show you because I'm filming on my phone, but it is way too big. But it is perfect for when I just want to go outside to the playground and not take my purse with me. because my purse has my wallet and all that sort of stuff. I could just stick my phone in here, reusable bag for if I need to go grocery shopping, and my keys in here, and it's perfect for that. So that's what I've decided this will be. I have another 5-weight cotton yarn that I got at a giveaway that I won, and I'm going to use that one to make a phone pouch, and I'll actually pay attention. Even though I did want it to be a little bigger, the bag, I didn't realize it'd be this much bigger. Like this, my phone can lie down this way, which is not what I wanted. But anyways, it's perfect. I used double V stitch, and this was from a tutorial from Leather Company, and I will link it down below. I used her tutorial with her yarn. I do like the way it turned out, and I'm glad I finally found a use for it, because I didn't know what to do with this 5-weight yarn. I just don't have enough 5-weight yarn to mix and match it with anything. So I'm glad I found something to do with it. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did enjoy this video, it's a little long. I just talked a lot during this video. It's because I haven't talked to you in 2 weeks. That's why. But anyways, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to hear more from me, please do subscribe. Oh, I just said my outro, but I forgot one thing. Laura from Mad Mimi's Crochet has finally opened, oh, not finally, I mean it's up to her when she wants to open it, has opened what I had made for her, and I told you I'm going to show you what I made for her. So I'm going to stick it up here with no audio, because I may sound bad now, but I sound worse than that one, because that was when I was having an allergic attack and my nose was so stuffed. My voice sounds horrible. So I don't know exactly what you're seeing because it's not in front of me, but this is the bear. I used Buddy Bear 2.0 from Craftably Ever After to make this bear. This is based off, like, she actually asked me to make her bear for her favorite hockey player, and I used the same colors. This is obviously a smaller one because I used the Pika Pau polar bear for the original bear, but I decided I'll make a smaller version, and I made this smaller version using the Buddy Bear 2.0 from Craftably Ever After, and I used the same colors. And I don't know if you're seeing it, but on the back I put Egg Begga because that's what Laura from Mad Mimi Crochet is. And she liked it. I'm so happy she liked it. But she's opened it, and if you want to see the video, please do go over to her channel. She actually posted it today. I wasn't going to talk about it today, but since she posted it today, here it is, if it's still up here. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video again. If you did enjoy it, please give me a thumbs up, and if you'd like to hear more from me, please subscribe. Bye.